Too many cats. That evening, after she had put the milk bottles out, Miss Barry found that her slippered feet were leading her into the park. It was late and very dark, and the bushes took on strange shapes and twigs cracked very loudly, even under her slippers. She stopped and listened. It was completely still. And then she heard a scratching, scraping noise, followed by a loud rattling that made her jump. A shape darted out of the garbage can. In a shaky voice, Miss Barry called out to it, "Puss." Then, more confidently, "Puss, puss." The cat appeared from behind the eucalyptus tree and looked at her. She searched in her apron pocket, but there was nothing there but a few squares of chocolate. She walked toward home, calling now and then, and leaving a trail of chocolate squares behind her, like Hansel, she thought. She paused at the gate and turned. Green eyes glared at her from the edge of the park. She went inside and came back with a bowl of milk, which she put at the door. It lay undisturbed all evening, but in the morning, the bowl was dry. The next night, she left 2 bowls on the porch, one with milk, the other with scraps. She left the door open. On the 3rd night, a shadow glided in during the evening and joined the other cats in the kitchen. "I'd like to call the new one Chocolate," said Miss Barry. Sandy was helping feed the kittens. "But it's a tabby, not chocolate at all. But it came for chocolate," said Miss Barry, as she knelt to give it a pat, or seemed to, and that must be unusual. Miss Barry found that she was going out every evening, listening for the meows of the distressed. She was always relieved when she didn't hear any, yet at the end of the week, she had another 4 cats. Sandy named them Lightning, Sobersides, Drink of Water, and Creamy Paws. "And that will be enough," she said to Miss Barry quite sternly. "No more looking for lost meows. It's getting too expensive, and the kitchen floor is almost covered with cartons." "I know," said Miss Barry with a lost sort of way. "It's just that when they fill out and purr, they look happy, and I just think of all the others outside." "You didn't think about it before," said Sandy. "Now don't think about it again." The words were really suggested by what her mother had said to her the night before. "It's getting out of hand," her mother had said. "All those cats, people will start saying she's peculiar and calling in the council. She was always so proud of her lovely clean house, too. I can't understand it." "It's still clean," said Sandy indignantly. "She keeps the cats beautiful, too." "We brush them every Saturday and we feed them outside now. In a few weeks, sure enough, everyone was talking. 'Poor Miss Barry is getting eccentric since she retired,' the neighbors agreed. 'Her house and her garden are overrun with cats. She always did overdo things,' said her nearest neighbor. 'Remember how she'd been out cleaning her windows every weekend?' 'That's what I don't understand,' said Mrs. Simpson. 'Her house is so clean and her garden a picture. She's the last person I would have ever thought who would have packed it with cats. It'll be a slum.' 'No,' said Sandy's mother. 'No, it isn't. It's as clean as ever. I don't know how she does it, but it is.' And then again, cats are such wonderfully clean creatures that perhaps it isn't so surprising," added Mrs. Tomley. "But in such numbers," said Mrs. Fairweather. "I counted 20 last week." "I counted 32 yesterday," said Mrs. Barry's nearest neighbor. "She'll have to be reported," said the old Miss Pike. She's gone senile and needs to be protected from herself. And what it must be costing." "Oh, she was never short of money," said Mrs. Simpson. "Fancy her becoming odd," said Mrs. Fairweather. "I think she's just kind," said Sandy's mother, but she decided to ask Sandy a few questions when she got home. "How many cats has she?" asked her mother. "Some are kittens," said Sandy unhelpfully. "Yes, but how many altogether?" "There's Blackberry and Nobbles, Panther, Honey, Strawberry and Shadow, Lightning, Drink of Water, and Cream Puff, said Sandy, trying to think of them all in order of acquisition. Chocolate, Sobersides, Foam, and Pirate. One Sock, Creamy Paws, Suds, and Blue Haze. Her mother's face was getting longer. About how many? She said. 30, maybe, give or take a few. It's take, and more than a few that's needed, said her mother. It's just too many cats. Miss Simpson and Miss Fairweather are organizing a petition, and really, I agree with them. You couldn't sign, said Sandy. If you sign, I'll never speak to you again. They're well looked after. We do a good job with them, and the yard's clean, and Mrs. Barry put up a wire fence to keep them in. It's a big garden. Yes, but you need a license to keep as many cats as that. It's not a cat's home, not an official one, I mean, she said hurriedly, for she could see that Sandy was about to contradict her. It will give the district a bad name. That's all she cares about, thought Sandy angrily, on and off the next day. But when she got to Miss Barry's after school, there were 3 new cats. Sandy felt suddenly helpless. She couldn't face finding names for them. She remembered how she had felt when she was a small child and no one had told her to stop eating the ice cream in the big container, and she had just gone on and on. 2 were in a carton at the gate, said Miss Barry placidly. I'm afraid people are starting to dump them. But Sandy knew that Miss Barry was still going out every night looking for cats. The thought filled her with alarm. She wondered how she could stop her before finding the cats and making them happy, which was nice, turned into a kind of nightmare. Aren't you frightened of the dark? She asked. Not of the dark, but what might be in it, said Miss Barry. But then I think of the part of what might be is a hungry cat like Blackberry, and that makes me go on. I wish I could come too, said Sandy wistfully. But she knew that there was no point in even asking her mother if she could. I know it can't be much fun coming home to an empty house, Sandy. Her mother had said that this morning. But I can't help it. I've got to work. And I know because now with all those cats, I'm the one coming home to a house that's empty. It's not empty, said Sandy. You've got Napoleon. And don't always be contradicting, said her mother, angry now instead of sad. And I want you home no later than 5:30 from now on. Yet, on the whole, Sandy associated the cats with peace. Whenever she felt upset, or even when she didn't, she stole off on the weekends to look at them. Not really play with them, just to look. They were such peaceful creatures, sleek and well-groomed now, basking in the sun. This Saturday, when she went, some of the kittens were playing in the honeysuckle, trailing in and out of their paws. Creamy Paws was licking them, and Pirate was staring fixedly into the park as usual. Only Mournful kept up the subdued, desolate meow that he always put on when there were people around. You can learn a lot from just looking at cats, Miss Barry had said to her, and it was true. Sandy felt calmer inside just thinking about them. Looking at them, she felt completely at peace.